All right. We are back here at Song of the Day, coming to you from the Rock Cave. I'm your host, Mark Pierce. It is Tuesday, Tasty Tuneage Tuesday. What are we talking about today? We are back on supergroups. I don't know, lately what's with supergroups, but like I say, I don't make the calendar, I just report on it. This is going to please many of you. Some of you I know out there are big fans of prog rock, progressive rock and roll, and this is the culmination of all that 70s prog rock, then the formation of rock supergroup Asia in 1981, and they released their debut album on March 18th, 1982. Everyone who was around at this time remembers this album, that whole summer, that whole year. It was a very, very big deal. So, who are they? Remember, prog rock of the 70s. They had these, albums that just, with just part one, part two, part three. It was just, one-sided record with the whole song is the whole side of a record. You're talking bands like Yes, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, King Crimson. Those are all ones that play a part here. But anyway, that was a big part of the 70s. And then you get to the late 70s, and it's kind of fading away. There are no new prog rock groups in the late 70s to early 80s. Taking over as punk is moving in away from disco, and then finally MTV launches and it's all new wave music. So there is small room for prog rock, but there wasn't anything really new. The demise of those bands I just talked about led to this group. So Yes, disbanded. You got Emerson, Lake and Palmer, disbanded. Remember Yes? Roundabout, I've Seen All Good People, Long Distance Runaround, that kind of stuff. Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Lucky Man, you remember that one? First, Carnival 9, First Impression Part 2. Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. Remember that? From the Beginning also. These guys are all breaking up, right? Also King Crimson, gone. So these guys are all kind of hanging around trying to figure out what to do in like the late 70s or 1980, right around there. And they actually, a bunch of them start forming bands and they start playing together. It's like misstarts and they try to do something that's not working. So a lot of different stuff, intermingling of these guys trying to work it out. And they finally get together and form this band. So who are these guys? You got John Wetton, who's vocals, bass, and guitar. He's basically from the band King Crimson, and he also briefly formed the band UK with Bill Bruford of Yes. You're going to see a lot of Yes around this morning. Steve Howe, the rock guitar god from Yes, he's in this band. Jeff Downes, keyboardist from Yes, is in this band. What else did Jeff Downes do? A little side project called The Buggles. Is the Buggles really one of the most disliked bands in history, strictly for their song Video Killed the Radio Star? How apropos. I mean, Video killed the radio star, but Video killed the prog star? MTV Video? I don't know. But they are the very first video played on MTV. How about that? Carl Palmer of Emerson, Lake and Palmer, as we talked about. These guys just put together something that worked. Their music, they were doing rehearsals, they clicked, the writing, the record has just enough drums and rhythm, just enough leaning towards the middle of album-oriented rock to please the people who were out of prog and more into the new wave, or at least into classic rock. Maybe the prog people were also happy with it, just enough prog to be happy with it. And the number one song at the time was Flock of Seagulls, so that's what they were competing with when it came to keyboard. And the producers would say, you need more keyboard, it's all about keyboards. They're like, no, this is what we're doing. The critics, I mean, you can't really go by the critics with anything ever. I've already spoken about that. I mean, generally, if Rolling Stone wrote a review and it was bad, I usually like the record. So maybe that says more about me than anything. But anyway, one critic said this was pompous schlock. They pretty much dumped on it. But guess what? It was the number one record of all of that year. It sold 4 million copies in the United States, number one, 10 million worldwide. It was a huge surprise hit. all the Journey fans, the Styx fans, the Boston fans, they just ate this up like Lucky Charms. They were just like, yeah, this is good. We love this stuff. And it was all over the airways, and we absolutely loved it. They started their tour at Clarkson University in Potsdam, New York on April 22nd, 1982. And by the end, they were in selling out massive arenas. They had a sold out US tour every single date. They won the Grammy for Best New Artist. And they just were huge. This is a mammoth record. The logo for the band is even the same logo as it is for Yes. I mean, it's just like, you know, this was the logo with the serpent on the front. I mean, it was meant to be. And some great hits on this record. Their biggest hit, Only Time Will Tell, Heat of the Moment. I mean, there's some awesome songs on here. But you have to go with Heat of the Moment for Song of the Day. Clearly. That's the one you're all going to be like, yes, I love this song. There it is. Yes, again. After that, they would put up a rushed second album. I said Rush. That did fine, platinum status, but not as good as the second. And by then, after that, it was breakups, new guys playing in and out. I mean, it was the usual mess. But as far as debuts, rock supergroup, this thing was just out of the stratosphere. The English did it right again. So, your song of the day, 6.5 minutes, is Heat of the Moment, Asia. Enjoy it today. Turn it up. We got a good week coming up. Tomorrow we might do something different for St. Patrick's Day. We might skip over Wanderlust Wednesday, but we'll see. And other good stuff coming down the pike. So stick with me. Enjoy it. Have a great day. And as usual, I'll catch you on the flip side.